Is there an ethical way of interacting with TikTok when the app itself is designed to capitalize on the user's addictive tendencies? Since its release in 2016, the popular video sharing app has enjoyed a significant rise in popularity. As of January 2024, it has over 1.1 billion users and has been downloaded over 220 million times in the United States alone. Lately, TikTok has been making headlines for a number of reasons. One reason is the social media platform is facing scrutiny over privacy and data sharing concerns. In particular, the lack of transparency for how TikTok uses the private data it gathers. Traditional social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X rely primarily on users' active engagement to determine their preferences. This includes actions such as liking posts, clicking ads, and following creators. TikTok, on the other hand, uses a wider range of user behaviors to train its algorithms. These include how long we watch a video, the number of times we allow a video to repeat, and whether we gravitate toward a specific type of creator or filters. This allows people to use TikTok passively while receiving an engaging, personalized content feed rather than having to actively cultivate it ourselves. That means a lot of data on user habits is being collected. However, that personalized For You page is exactly what has attracted so many users to the app. TikTok offers a space where people can connect and engage meaningfully with others through posting video content. People can remix, duet, and share content. They can talk about their daily lives or show off their projects. They can share knowledge or offer updates on big events. They can even allow small businesses or rising creators to grow their audience base and spread awareness about interesting products. The algorithm is instrumental for showing these videos to an audience that will appreciate them. As a result, the rise of TikTok has also given rise to a creator economy, where many users can share their content with audiences for profits. TikTok's signature For You page, with its endless stream of relevant content, is TikTok's biggest strength, as well as its greatest fault. In 2020, a study was conducted to analyze how social media users think in ethical terms regarding their online participation. An analysis of 47 in-depth interviews were conducted to identify different dimensions of moral reasoning. During the interviews, participants agreed that TikTok's features, such as the length of the video, the scrolling feature, the music, and the matching algorithm, makes the need to use the application compulsive. This creates tension for users who appreciate the videos being presented to them while also feel guilty for wasting time on the app that should have been used for something more productive. So with an app that has such a considerable user base, a thriving creator culture, and a globalized social community, and with many creators and businesses using it as a way to generate income, the question becomes, how can someone use TikTok in a way that simultaneously facilitates learning new things and bettering yourself, as well as supporting your favorite creators, in an environment where the primary goal is to get you to watch as long as possible? The solution I'd like to present uses a virtue ethic approach to practice mindfulness and self-control while engaging with the app. Virtue ethics center around how qualities like honesty, courage, compassion, and wisdom play into leading ethical lives. These theories view such qualities as more fundamental to ethics than following strict moral rules or principles. Virtue ethicists argue that living a morally good life is not merely a matter of following rules or calculating outcomes, but of becoming a virtuous person. In this ethical framework, a virtuous person is simply somebody who lives well. Shannon Valor, in her book Technology and Virtues, A Philosophical Guide to a Future Worth Wanting, discusses how moral virtues, as understood by Aristotle, are states of a person's character, stable dispositions such as honesty, courage, moderation, and patience, that promote their possessors' reliable performance of right or excellent actions. These states, Valor says, are something that the individual must cultivate themselves, and once cultivated, leads to deliberate, effective, and reasoned choices of the good. These states also emerge from habitual and committed practice and study of right actions. It's built by repeatedly performing courageous acts. In other words, what we do determines who we become, or fake it till you make it. According to Valor, these virtuous actions must be voluntary and performed purely for the sake of what is noble. This means mindlessly following the law or scrolling through TikTok isn't conducive to leading a virtuous life. However, Aristotle didn't see social constructs like law and incentives as structures that obstructed the process of self-cultivation. Instead, he viewed them as instruments that led eventually to genuine virtue. This is because laws and others' external moral authority gradually acclimatize young people to noble actions that are naturally painful. Similarly to learning how to share with siblings or help out a person in need, those may not be instinctive for some people at first, but after becoming morally acclimated to the action, it can result in great pleasure to perform, like baking a cake for a beloved sibling, even when we don't expect to partake ourselves. We can apply this logic to the use of social media applications. If we make deliberate choices with the intent to better ourselves or to cultivate a particular value, like any of the 12 techno-moral virtues Valor discusses from her book, then we could train our TikTok For You page to promote an environment that's more conducive to living as well. The 12 techno-moral virtues include honesty, self-control, humility, justice, courage, empathy, care, civility, flexibility, perspective, magnanimity, and techno-moral wisdom. Of the 12 techno-moral virtues, one that I think would contribute to a flourishing environment is the practice of self-control. This virtue encourages us to exercise temperance, thinking before we post, avoiding knee-jerk reactions, and refraining from actions that harm others. Valor defines self-control as the ability to reliably and deliberately align one's desires with the good. Life online presents us with many challenges to our self-control, undermining our discipline and our ability to pay attention. To practice self-control, we need to determine which digital goods and experiences will help us live well, and then we must become the author of our own desires. We must make the conscious choice to say whether something will promote flourishing or diminish your life. In regards to TikTok, you can actively choose which videos you spend your time and attention on, and thus doing so help cultivate a For You page better suited to personal improvements. You can also practice on using the app during specific times of the day, instead of compulsively when you're bored and need that dopamine hits. In a blog post about TikTok and the ethics of attention, Ava Guinin noticed many TikTok users started being more deliberative about how they use the app. Some users noticed the onset of a depressive spiral when their For You page becomes pessimistic, and they would start lingering on happier videos, even if it takes an effort at first in order to pull up from the escalating emotional nosedive. Other users noticed their For You page disproportionately features white content creator, and deliberately makes the choice not to swipe past videos created by people of color because they do not want the biases to create a social bubble around them. By taking deliberate control over their habits, these users practice self-control in order to contribute to self-improvement and community flourishing. A few weeks ago, a content creator friend of mine sent me a TikTok video where a marketing analyst explained a few different ways users on the app could support their favorite creators without having to spend money. This creator, known on the app as Aerith Girl, said the absolute best free things you could do for your favorite content creators to support them monetarily was to repost their videos. The reason reposting is so important, Aerith Girl explains, is because creators who are monetizing their content can only benefit from the creativity program if their video meets a few criteria. One of these requires the video to be at least 1 minute and 1 second long. The videos also have to have a certain number of qualified views, which is when a viewer watches the video for 5 seconds or more on the For You page. This is important because if you know a content creator who uses TikTok as a significant source of their income and you want to support them, it doesn't benefit them as much as you think if you seek out their videos on their friends or following for pages, or if you go directly to their page. But when you post a video, you are putting it out on other people's For You pages. You're expanding its reach to people who wouldn't have seen it otherwise. This increases the chance for qualified views and of getting monetized for those videos. You're also practicing a form of self-control, because you're taking an active role in cultivating your feed and promoting content that you support. Mindfully scrolling through the For You page will also prevent the development of an echo chamber, which can naturally occur as a result from the algorithm's attempts to deliver the user more content that's similar to what they've liked in the past. Likely, without even realizing it, users might scroll past creators with different colored skin or unfamiliar background and linger longer on people who look more like them and talk like them. TikTok's algorithm's primary goal is to present viewers with access to content that reflects their own internal worlds, content that reflects their interests, likes, and personalities. In some ways, this process might be seen as a curated collection representing their inner self, and in many cases, this collection of the inner self has revealed aspects about a person that they themselves weren't aware of until then. Some examples include users who have found out that they were gay because the app kept showing them gay creators. People with neurodivergent traits were able to attach new terminology to their experiences. The downside to this self-reflection is that you can decrease the amount of diverse content you are exposed to. Echo chambers are environments that isolate people from any information or content that falls outside of their worldview, cutting them off from the people who could provide them with challenging or novel perspectives. Without actively seeking new content, users may end up hearing their own personal values repeated back to them, further confirming their beliefs with nothing to provide new perspectives or thought processes. These echo chambers can be dangerous for promoting cultures of hate and intolerance, whereas a more globally connected environment, where there is free movement of information and perspectives, invites a more inclusive and diverse space. The opposite can happen as well. Instead of an echo chamber, you can end up on a side of TikTok you do not want to be, and through your actions can accidentally cultivate more engagement with that kind of content. If a viewer leaves behind negative comments on posts they don't like, the algorithm will see that interaction as engagement and send more content that user's way. For someone unfamiliar with how the algorithm works, this increase in similar content may cause further frustration and increased engagement, which will create a positive feedback loop in which the user is stuck in a cycle of trolling. Many of the challenges of content creation for people of color come from the response and engagement of the viewership, which can be exacerbated by users who leave disrespectful and hateful comments on TikTok. Because the more a person engages with this particular type of content, the more content of that kind the algorithm will send their way. This results in even more Black creators being exposed to hate speech. In a study conducted in 2023, 12 Black TikTok creators were interviewed about the particular challenges they faced navigating the algorithm. Some of the common challenges they listed was content moderation, monetization, harassment and bullying from viewers, lack of transparency and recommendation and filtering of algorithms, and the perception that content from Black creators is treated unfairly by these algorithms. By navigating the app with mindfulness, users can use self-control to reflect on what impacts their actions might have on themselves as well as others. Those who want to promote a flourishing environment could instead refrain from engaging with the content they don't like or that they might disagree with, instead of engaging with the algorithm with hateful and rash comments. In doing so, the user could direct the For You page to another part of TikTok and leave the creator to continue cultivating the audience they want without having to deal with negative comments. This creates a more positive environment for both the user and the creator. In regards to my original question, is it possible to ethically interact with TikTok when the app itself is designed to capitalize on the user's addictive tendencies? I say yes, so long as you approach your time on the app with the intent to live a flourishing life while combating the lure of the mindless scroll. With virtue ethics, it really comes down to practice. Doing the right thing helps you become a better person, and as you continue to improve yourself, it becomes easier to do more good things. It's just up to you to determine what those good things are, and then practice it. It really comes down, I hate it when it does that. It really comes down, I hate it when it does that.